Gametes are formed by a type of cell division called meiosis. So remember that when a cell divides by mitosis, it produces two genetically identical copies of the cell, each with the same 23 pairs of chromosomes. However, meiosis happens in the reproductive organs, the testes and the ovaries. A single cell divides to form 4 unique cells that become the gametes. The gametes have to divide differently to halve the chromosomes so they can recombine to form a unique, new organism. So what happens during this process of meiosis? Firstly, copies of the genetic information are made, and there is an increase in the number of subcellular structures. So this first step is the same as in mitosis. In both cases, the DNA is duplicated, and there's an increase in the number of subcellular structures like mitochondria and ribosomes. This diagram shows a nucleus containing a single pair of chromosomes, one from each parent. There are actually 23 pairs of chromosomes in human body cells, but that would be too confusing to show in this simple diagram. When the genetic information has been copied, the nucleus then ends up looking like this. You can see the original chromosome is joined to a copied one at the centromere. What happens next to make this different to mitosis? In meiosis, the cell divides twice to form 4 gametes. So we start with this parent cell. In humans, this would contain 46 chromosomes, or 23 pairs. Firstly, this DNA is replicated, so if we double this number of chromosomes, we end up with 92. The parent cell then divides twice. In this first division, the chromosome number is divided by 2 as it splits into 2 cells. These 2 cells then divide again, so we divide the number of chromosomes by 2 again. Each of these 4 cells therefore contains 23 single chromosomes. These 4 cells will form 4 unique gametes. So from this diagram, you can clearly see that each of the gametes has half of the number of chromosomes as the parent cell. Remember, the gametes are the sperm and egg cells in mammals, or pollen and egg cells in plants. During meiosis, the cell divides similarly to how it does in mitosis, but you don't need to know the names of the different stages of meiosis for the exam, as long as you understand what is happening to the chromosomes. Each gamete has a single set of chromosomes. So in humans, each gamete has 23 single chromosomes, with a mix from each parent. All gametes are genetically different from each other. Therefore, meiosis produces 4 genetically different gametes. Unless a person is an identical twin, they're not an exact genetic copy of their brother or sister. So the sperm or egg cells that made them must all be slightly genetically different. Meiosis produces this genetic variation, but you don't have to be able to explain how in your exams. So how can we easily remember the difference between mitosis and meiosis? We can compare and contrast mitosis and meiosis. Here's a useful way of remembering. So we want our toes to be the same tissue and not be growing ears. So mitosis makes my toes. However, meiosis makes the cells that produced us. So you can remember this as meiosis makes me. So mitosis makes my toes, and meiosis makes me. What are the similarities and differences between mitosis and meiosis? We can compare and contrast mitosis and meiosis using this table. It's important that you remember the differences between mitosis and meiosis and don't get them muddled up. So first, with mitosis, we have 1 cell division, whereas meiosis has 2 cell divisions. Mitosis produces 2 daughter cells, however, meiosis produces 4 daughter cells. In mitosis, each daughter cell contains 46 chromosomes, however, in meiosis, each daughter cell contains 23 chromosomes. Cells produced during mitosis can be referred to as diploid, and those produced during meiosis can be referred to as haploid. These terms don't have to be recalled in the exam if you can describe the number of chromosomes in each type of cell. Finally, mitosis produces genetically identical cells, whereas meiosis produces genetically different cells. Make sure you take some time looking at this table so that you're able to know the differences between mitosis and meiosis.
Thanks for watching. If you want to take your GCSE revision to the next level, head over to launchpadlearning.com and check out our smart learning platform that's been designed to get you top results in your exams. We cover your whole specification and make revision fun with interactive quizzes, easy-to-follow videos, and more. You'll be kept motivated by your own AI tutor who's here to support you every step of the way. To check it out for yourself, click here. Or click here to keep watching a selection of the videos from our full GCSE Biology course. See you there!